My name is Laura Pannack. I'm a photographic artist. So I'd probably say over the last few years, the way that my work has evolved, it's become a little bit more collaborative in terms of I've really been reaching out more to academics and working in partnership with ethnographers, psychologists, scientists. I guess the reason behind that is because with every project that I do, I'm pushing myself to learn something new. And I think as photography evolves, it's important to look at the different ways that our work can sort of, evolve as well and progress and take shape. The first camera that I ever used was a Pentax that my dad gave me. It was a 35mm black and white. He's a photographer and he's very kind of geeky with tech stuff and lighting. I remember kind of this, just falling in love with the magic of looking through the frame, and I shot one roll of black and white. It was like this weird realization of like, well, wait a minute, I can do exactly what I'm doing, but in a 60th of a second. This is so much easier than, 5 weeks looking at a canvas. That's how I got into photography, and then how it developed into a career was that I needed to obviously learn the skills, so I went and did a BA. I was very fortunate because I'd done 2 foundations. I knew that I really needed to start working sort of before I began studying. So I was working for Hot Shoe magazine and I was also assisting. So that was even kind of in my first year. So by the time that I got to my 3rd year, I'd already had a lot of experience assisting. I had the mentorship of some amazing people like Simon Roberts. And I remember there being a very pivotal moment when I had the understanding that I needed to do more assisting and learn more lighting skills. I didn't know how to use lights. I was great with the sun, but when it came to lighting. And so I thought to myself, I need to do more assisting, or I'm gonna just wing it with these assignments. And it was definitely a kind of crossroads, and I just decided to wing it. And that was hard, but also helpful. A lot of my process is about teaching. So when I'm working with kids, it's really important to me that they understand the process, because not only is it kind of ethically, for me, it's like, I want you to understand what I'm doing. Like, I'm capturing your image and this is how I'm doing it. But it's also giving them the skills to take my picture. Like when you're painting, you're often just looking at light, shape and form. And I think especially there's definitely a situation that I was in recently where that came into play, where it was really challenging because there were, I'm going to say, like 100 kids screaming around. We were in a dangerous, volatile environment. Everyone wanted to be in the picture, and I just wanted to photograph this one boy. And I think that photography at its best, portraiture at its best, is when that connection is so deep that it transforms into this kind of shared state of flow, where you're both kind of in this moment and time evaporates. And I think that takes compassion and it takes presence and understanding. A lot of my work is sensitive and involves people who are vulnerable, whether that be like mental health issues, or they're in volatile environments, or they're in homes that are not very safe, or relationships that are not very safe. The best way for me to approach that personally is with complete and utter open ignorance and naivety, and to work with very small NGOs and organisations and clubs and community groups. And for a number of reasons. Number one, I really think it's important to have a mediator to keep people safe. I think people need to feel that they are not being, used or in any way exploited. But also I think it's important because that community or organisation can provide me with information, education, guide me as to kind of the questions that I'm already asking, which is why I'm doing the project. I did a project once on self-harm, and so I was working with a charity called Harmless, and it was very much in line with kind of exploring what self-harm is and what helps people of all different ages and backgrounds. And so it was really important to me that all of the people that were involved were allowed to express their story, their journey in their own words, and that was like at the forefront. And then that guided the photographs that we made together. So for example, one of the photographs was a man sitting on a bed with a hairdryer, and that was because his white noise was his answer to his panic attacks and his self-harm. I think mental health is something that all of us can relate to and is incredibly important. And when approached, I think it needs to be just met with a softness and a slowness and a compassion, and not rushed. I think there's a danger of just rushing those kinds of projects. And also I think what's interesting about photography and photography projects is that you often find that the themes that arise from the work is so broad. There's so much that can come out of one story, and the most important thing for me is to work with people and work with themes that are relatable and universal. What I like with photography is there's never one path. There's never a kind of ladder of how you would progress through your career. And that's what keeps it exciting, is that you can never kind of peak or never fail. It's just a journey.